to Authors Off the Page. I'm here with Becky Monson and Jennifer Peel. We're excited to be here with you today.
Hello.
April, can you believe it? Almost May.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
End of school. I cannot wait.
Yes.
I'm just
I know.
so ready.
I was like, I love having my kids in school because I can have time to write. But then this morning when I had to get up to get everybody off to school, I was like, and we have tomorrow's off. I was like, oh, I'm so glad we could just sleep in tomorrow.
I know, right?
Friday in the summer, it takes me about like the first 3 weeks. It's so nice, no schedule. And then after 3 weeks, I'm like, go back to school. Yeah. I got things to do.
The thing that's killing me is all the end of year stuff. It's like band concerts, dance recitals, all this scout stuff. And it's like, oh, I'm just ready for that part to be done and we can just relax.
Yeah.
Just kick your kids out. That's what I did. No, just kidding.
You empty nester, you.
I know.
Crazy. Well, I thought we would talk about friendships this month and what we think about that. I mean, what makes a good friend to you? What would be a good friend?
Oh, goodness. I just really, I was funny because I was just talking about this with my life coach. Anybody needs a life coach, you need to look up Lead with Love Life Coaching. Emily McAllister. She is amazing. We were talking about this yesterday. She was talking about like what you think big love should feel like in your life. And really the theory is that you should find that from yourself. But for me, for friendship, I was like, I really just love somebody that gets me. Like that gets my jokes, gets my humor, gets my, like makes me feel good. Like by the time I've left or gone home that night, I want to feel good about hanging out with them,
Yeah.
like uplifted. Yeah. I love that. And like they always have your back. I love friends like that.
Yeah.
And good cheerleaders. You guys are good cheerleaders.
Well, not like someone who's easy to be around. Like you just don't have to worry about, thinking through everything you're going to say in your head before you say it. You're just easy to be with them.
So nice.
Yeah, I feel like somebody too that likes all your sides, right? Like they know that you might get a little cranky once in a while, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like somebody who will like tell the truth too, right? Like maybe it's a hard truth, but like they'll say it like, like maybe. Like I had an experience one time where like, and I've never done this before. Like I'm always somebody who gets up every day very early. I just have a super routine. And when we were moving to Alabama, we had bought the house, but then our house fell through in Chicago. And I was like devastated. Like, what are we going to do? And I just remember laying in bed, like, I don't even want to get out of bed. And I had a friend come over and she's like, you're getting out of bed right now, And so like, because she knew that wasn't me, like I wasn't somebody who would just lay around or, which is
that's a bad
totally
sign,
fine if you do, but I'm just saying.
That's just not you.
Right. It's not me. Yeah. And so she just, you know what I mean? But I just love that too. And just somebody that you can just talk, like just talk and talk and talk and still,
And there's never a dull moment. And then when it's quiet, it's okay. Like comfortable silence is so nice.
Yeah.
But I know some of my closest friends, we don't really run out of things to say either. It's always like the continuing conversation. Even if we're not super, like a lot of my friends are in Canada. So, we sometimes go a couple weeks without talking or whatever, but we're still close. So we can pick up the conversation where we left off.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love that. I do love that.
Are you still friends with anybody from elementary school?
I am. I mean, Facebook really.
I was gonna say
back,
Facebook friends.
Yeah. My best friend growing up, like we knew each other since the womb. Like our parents went to Hawaii for a work trip where they were pregnant with us.
Oh wow!
Wow.
So we've known each other for our whole lives. Yeah. So yeah, but I still have friends from elementary school, but it's really because of Facebook. I don't know if I would have kept in contact with them otherwise. Maybe one of them in particular I would have, because I did before Facebook even came to be. So
Facebook friends counts, right?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
I have friends from junior high because when we lived in Denver till I was in elementary school, and so then like we moved right at the end, and then I started junior high when we moved to Montrose. So I still have a couple friends, a few friends actually from junior high.
Yeah.
So, but not elementary.
My kindergarten teacher found me on Facebook, and she
gosh.
posted our little kindergarten class picture and said, you probably don't remember me, but I'm Miss Francis, your kindergarten teacher. And here's a picture of you. I'm like, wow.
With all the students that came through, she obviously remembered you.
I know. And that was a long time ago. I mean, we used to nap at our kindergarten. We all had our little mats.
I think we did too.
Take a little nap.
Because I hated it. I was not a napper back then. I am now. I love my naps.
My sons in Alabama, they did that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a southern thing.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. Not anymore. Not nowadays.
No.
Yeah. Well, they did full day in Alabama. And I think here it's only half day, right?
That's true.
We still have naps during half day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love naps now.
Yeah, they're my best friend.
Yeah.
Speaking
of that, do you have a best friend?
I have lots of best friends.
I mean, what's the definition of best friend when you think about it?
I guess it's like people that I talk to daily, I would consider my closest friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of best friends. I mean, I know you're only supposed to, I guess like the rule is you have one bestie. I don't think I really, yeah, I guess, yeah. No,
who would you give your BFF necklace to? Your half of a BFF necklace. Do you have one person or you have multiple? You would buy in bulk.
You give one to Rob.
No. He wouldn't wear it.
Just kidding.
No. Yeah. What about you? Do you have a bestie?
I think so. I don't know. It's such a weird, nebulous definition. That's why I was trying to get it in my head what truly is a best friend. Like you said, it's someone you're super close to, someone that knows you and accepts you, even the sides that maybe aren't so pretty. And so, yeah, I would say I have a best friend. And of course, we're talking besides our husbands.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I'm okay not saying I'm
it depends on the day. Yeah. He's my best friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Today we're kind of okay. Yesterday was not my best friend.
Right.
I would have taken my necklace back yesterday. No, we're fine. Give me that back. No, I feel like there's 3 people that I talk to every day. And it would be weird if I didn't. And so I would probably say that's
the 3.
Like, yeah.
Your core 3.
Yeah, I have a couple that I would say. And then my daughters.
Yeah.
Like my daughters are for sure like they're always talking to me. I can't get them to be quiet. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I have that with my kids.
Which is it's totally great, but I'm just tired, y'all. Oh my gosh. My daughter, she's like, maybe I'll just have another baby and get over with. And I was like, no. I was like, I need a break. So I was like, you can't have another baby right now. And she just looked at me. I was like, I'm serious.
Yeah. That's not happening. That's awesome.
If you could be best friends with a celebrity, who would you pick?
Henry Cavill.
I was like, is Tom up for grabs? I'm just kidding.
Jennifer Garner.
That's what I was going to say.
Follow her on
so
Instagram. And when I follow her, I'm like,
fun.
we should be friends.
Yeah.
Why aren't we friends?
She's so genuine and her videos are funny and cute.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah. And she loves God. And, she's just seems like a really down to earth.
Oh, she's totally down to earth. She wears mom jeans.
Yeah.
She's always like, you know what I mean? Like she's
talks
just
about her pooch on her stomach.
Yeah.
She's like, it's not going away. Sorry, guys. Like this is here to stay. I had children and
she was doing a classroom event for one of her kids' classes, and she was all nervous about it. I'm like, she just seems so real.
And I'm sure the teacher was like, oh my gosh,
it's Jennifer Garner.
Did you see Donnie, her birthday?
Her birthday, Donnie
that was so
Osmond.
cute.
It was so funny.
So cute.
I had no idea. She was like a super fan of him.
Well, the thing is, Donnie Osmond was one of my first crushes too. Him and Scott Baio. Like all of those when we were growing up, and like the Chips guy.
The blonde one.
Eric Estrada.
Oh, no, Eric Estrada. I love the dark hair. And Han Solo. Like, they were all my boyfriends. Like, my first little pitter-patter of loves when
I think Scott Baio. I remember I was visiting cousins, and some of them...
Yeah.
Yes. One of them had, like, a box full of, like, teen magazines that were, like, way old. And there was one of him, like, doing a kissing face, and I was like, oh, I was only, like, 10 or 12.
I know.
I was like, he is so hot. And then he did like Charles in Charge. You remember that show?
Yes, and I love that show too. Yes.
Joni loves Chachi.
Yes,
yeah.
But
I always was like, I don't know, like Joni and Chachi. I was kind of like, okay, like I didn't know
too much alike.
Yeah, and I just
siblings.
was always like, Oh, I don't know. Like if Joni deserved Chachi, but
it should have been me.
Yeah, kidding.
Well, I'm glad to find another Eric Estrada fan. I loved him in Chips.
Oh,
Never missed it.
And
I thought they were both handsome.
Yeah,
but
no, they were both handsome.
I was more. I liked the blonde guy. What was his name?
Nobody remembers
Nobody
him.
remembers
Eric Estrada was.
And I also love the Dukes of Hazzard's guys.
Oh, you know what?
John
I'm actually
Schneider
getting
and
them
Tom
mixed
Wopat.
up. It was Eric Estrada that I liked from that. I was thinking Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh,
it was
Tom
the blonde
Wopat.
guy and Dukes of Hazzard.
yeah.
He was way cuter.
Yeah,
the blonde guy.
this is John Schneider.
Oh yeah, John Schneider.
Yeah,
and he actually grew up to be like he aged well.
Oh, he did
he
age
still
well.
looks really
yes.
good. Yeah. So hey, John. No, I'm just kidding.
Will you be my bestie?
Right.
Yeah. We got off on a men tangent.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
You two on a men
I
tangent?
know. Isn't
I
that
know. My kids are always like, "Yep, you and Becky have hit that age where like you're like," and they're like, "We remember our mom," because I'm obviously pretty young to have kids my age, and they're like, "Always remembered like the moms in high school. They acted just like that because they were there," and I was like, I don't really want to be with these people. And they're like, we know, but they're like, that you're just at that age. So I don't know what that means.
We just like to watch their movies.
Exactly.
And drool.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Are you still doing the Korean thing?
Oh, Turkish dramas.
Turkish drama?
Okay, so I had to take a break. Turkish dramas are like, the episodes are like 2 hours and 20 minutes
They're
long.
like movie
Each
long.
episode.
And it's like how many? 52 or 55?
There's 51 episodes, and I got through 25 or 24. But it's kind of it got repetitive where I was like, okay, just be together already. I don't have time in my life for this. So I have not watched it in over a week.
Wow.
Because I was like, I'm so busy, and I can't justify spending this much time of my life. So I'm probably going to watch the last 2 episodes and then maybe go back.
Yeah.
But
so you only have
time,
2 episodes left and you quit?
No. I have over 20. I have 26 episodes
26.
left. I mean, that's a lot.
And so you can't quit with 2, but if there's 24, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, I was like, it's funny, but like, and I know that there's a lot more drama that happens that breaks them up. And I'm like, but it's like ridiculous kind of drama. And I was like, I can't deal with that. I was like, and I read somewhere online too that a lot of people are like, they just should have ended it with the first season because it's like they kind of made up things for them to be a part in the second season.
It's like a soap opera.
It totally, it's a major soap opera. It's like, but it's so funny because in Turkey, so like they will show a couple, like it'll like show clothes on the floor, but then they're fully dressed in bed. So I was like, they obviously have sex a little different than we do in America, but
they're super squeaky clean.
Yeah, and they blur out any alcohol, so they can be in a bar, but all the alcohol is blurred out, and even if it's in a glass, it's completely blurred out. They blur.
So funny.
It's so funny. They blur out any trademark symbols, so like all their Mercedes cars, the Mercedes symbol is.
And Americans are like,
out.
we'll charge you for that. That's free advertising.
Exactly. Yeah. So but I mean, it's so, I've never laughed so hard at a show. I will say that. It's hilarious. Like the mom and dad are like so funny. Like I've never giggled so hard. But
the main guy is so handsome.
He is very handsome.
Jean.
Yes, because in Turkey, so the C actually makes the J sound. So like his name it's spelled C-A-N, but it's pronounced Jean. I know, yeah.
He's very
nice. Something new.
He's very handsome.
So he's our new.
And
he's our new boyfriend.
He's
right
actually
now.
a lawyer in real life, so that's even more.
He's smart.
Yeah, so
And
like
smart.
Yeah. So he was a lawyer before he ever became an actor.
Wow.
I know. So he's very handsome and smart.
I mean, I wonder what made him want to do that. It's like, I'm tired of being a lawyer now. I think I'll try acting.
I think I'll be an actor.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure somebody saw him and said, "You're so beautiful.
You
like
should
you should probably model and be an actor." So yeah.
I wonder if the money's better.
In Turkey, I don't know.
Turkey.
So Turkey has the second biggest. I read they have the second biggest like movie production in the whole world.
Oh wow!
Like they make more film and TV shows. They're number 2 in the whole world.
Oh wow!
which is, but again, it's very different. All their episodes are just so dang long.
We're not Americans. We're like, we got it. You get me for a half hour. That's all the time I got.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. The new SEAL Team season, of course, is on a streaming service. You only get 1 hour. It's 10 episodes of 1 hour each.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh.
But see, I wish that's kind of what I was like. I can commit myself to that.
Yeah.
Like 51 episodes of 2.5 hours. I'm like,
over 100.
Right. I was like, nobody has time for that. Like, I don't have time for that. I mean, I literally, there was one night, and I don't watch TV either, really. And I was up until 2:30 in the morning, and my husband's like, woke up, and he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, just be quiet. I was like, I'm just reading my subtitles. He's like,
I'm reading.
I know. And he's like, are you okay? I was like, no, just go back to bed.
It's nothing to worry about, honey.
Yeah. Yes. But honestly, the chemistry between the two of them, I mean, oh my gosh, it's pretty fantastic. And it's so nice because it's clean.
Yes.
Like, it's so clean. So they actually have to like court each other and things like that. And like, I don't know. There's some shots I should show you that I'll just show you a couple clips, but that's pretty hot. So.
Are you going to write a book about that?
Oh yeah. So in my new book that I'm working on right now, she's addicted to the same show. And so she's always talking about it. But anyways, so it's kind of fun.
Funny.
Would you want to be friends with the female?
The female, yes, because unfortunately I heard that they were together in real life, this couple, but he cheated on her.
Oh, no.
I know. It kind of ruins it a little bit for me. I'm trying not to think about it. But with her, I would totally, her name is Demet, I believe. I think that's how you say it in real life, but she's hilarious. Like I would be besties with her. Sure. She's a little she's like kind of psychotic in the show, but it's like a funny way. Like she's always just getting herself in the dumbest situations.
Right.
So
That's funny. I do like funny people. I like being friends with funny people.
Me
Probably
too.
why I like you too.
Yeah. Sweet. By the way, if
You're
you want to watch
funny too,
the
Julie.
show, it's called Erkenci Kus. So it's ERKENCI and then KUS.
Okay.
But
I will probably watch it.
Just be well aware it's addictive, and
And
I
it'll take
actually
over your
bought like a expensive streaming service to watch it without ads. That's how much I like it.
And subtitles, because it's hard to find it with subtitles.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so it has American subtitles. Obviously, it doesn't always translate, I think, correctly, because I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not what that said. But I know lots of Turkish words now, so
I'm basically Turkish.
exactly. It's gonna be like my second language.
I'm basically fluent in it.
I think it's funny that it's coming up in your new book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So anyways, that hopefully it'll be funny. But the couple does remind me so much of Rowan and Princess in my other book that I honestly be really sad if they ever made it into a movie and those two didn't play the part. They'd have to learn English, but whatever.
That's how I pictured Rowan.
Yeah.
That Jean.
Okay, I had a really hard time with Rowan. I read the book, and like the first half, you're like, I don't even like this guy. Why is he so terrible? And he doesn't deserve her. So I don't care if they get together. But then you flip the switch, Jennifer Peel, every time. The chemistry, it's undeniable. And he starts to change, and the whole redemption arc, it's like, all right, I guess I love him.
This is The Queen with No Name, in case anybody doesn't know what it's called. It's so freaking good.
It is really, really good.
It's good.
Oh, you guys are kind. I almost killed off Rowan. I actually called Becky. I was like, I think Rowan's gonna die. So I was like, I think he's gonna die.
She's like,
I'm not
she
sure.
kept texting me. She's like, he's such a jerk.
I
And I
know.
was like, well, you're writing him.
I
Jen.
know.
Like, just make him nicer. He
know.
can't be. Like,
I know. I was like, I can't. I'm trying, but it's not. It wouldn't work. And then finally, I was like, and she's like, you can't kill him. And I was like, I don't know. He might die. He just might die. So
I know. For a while, I was like, maybe she should be with the brother.
The
'Cause
brother?
his brother's a darling.
Yes.
I love it.
I did like the friendship with Rowan and his brother. The
Yeah.
little-
yes.
all the inside jokes and stuff. That was
Yeah.
cute.
They were good
Yeah.
friends.
And
Yeah.
maybe the one scene that jumps to my mind when I said that was when the brother's like, maybe if you want to woo a woman, you shouldn't call her a weapon.
Yeah.
And Rowan's just so annoyed. Like,
Yeah.
be quiet.
Yes.
I'll do my
Yeah, it was a really
wooing.
good brother dynamic for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved them.
Yeah.
I loved it.
good book.
Yeah. I think it's with Rowan, it's like I knew his heart, so I was like, I knew eventually, like.
And you give little tidbits.
Yeah.
So
tried to lead the reader along to let people know, like, he really, like, he's a good person. Like, he obviously made some poor choices, but like, in his mind, he had good reason for the way that he was behaving.
Right.
Because obviously then you learn more about his dad and just things like that. But yeah, it was hard because it's hard and I warned people, I was like, this really is more of a coming of age story. It wasn't a romance per se. And like, it was hard for me because I wanted Rowan to be the romantic lead, right? Like,
right.
But I was like, this is not a romance novel.
Right.
There's a lot of romance.
Yeah, there is a lot of romance in it.
It's really about her growth.
It's really about her.
Yeah.
But when you reveal, I think just the way you do it in such a slow way, both Rowan and Princess, you're both kind of revealing their backgrounds, their fears, and that's what makes it compelling for me. It's like, okay, well, I just have to see why, this is happening. What is the secret? And I don't know. It was just really good. You did a great job with that.
Thank you. Thanks. Now I just have to write the second one.
Yes.
I'll say, can you hurry up with that?
I know.
Maybe forget the Turkish drama one.
She was like, text me the other day. She's like, oh my gosh, now I have to like research war and like how to do war. And I was like, oh, good luck to you.
I know.
Maybe talk to Julie.
I know. I actually wrote Brandon Sanderson because he's always like, if there's anything I can ever help you with, I was like, okay, by the way,
now that you mention it,
I was like,
how do you write a war?
Yeah, I was like, could you just direct me towards like any good books or something like about warfare, like that I would be good to read about? And because my husband's like, Brandon Sanderson has written the best battle scenes ever, and I was like, I'm sure. So anyways, but yeah, so Becky and I taught class for him a couple weeks ago. So I was like, we helped you because maybe you could help me. I mean, I don't need him to sit down with me. I just want him to give me like pointers, like where to look for like some good.
He would. He's super helpful.
Battle scenes, those kind of things. So yeah, because I'm like, this is, and so I know people want the next story so fast, but I'm also like, okay, this book was a stretch for me. So I'm like, and this next one's going to be a real stretch.
Are you going to do like modern warfare or like medieval warfare?
Probably more medieval type warfare, but I want it to be like,
because they don't have cars. And
right.
Stuff.
Like, so I want it to be more like, like, is covert the right way, but like, you know what I mean? Like where it's like, there's like an art form to it, if that makes sense. So I want it to be more like that than just like bloody battle scenes, which I'm sure there will be some of those as well.
Right.
But you've just done so well at building this world. I just wondered if you were going to make it kind of your own sort of.
Yes, yeah, because obviously I didn't do totally medieval. I just kind of used hints of it. So yeah, there will be more like, because the dad, obviously, I don't want to give it away.
Yeah,
but
don't give any spoilers.
I don't want to give it away, but obviously, like, there's a lot that he's learned this whole time. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, like, there's that whole thing that I want that to come into play.
Well, I just wondered because there's generally protocols before you declare war. And so I just wondered if you were making your own, like, country protocols of negotiation or if it's just like, we're going to war.
Well, I mean, obviously, again, I don't want to give any spoilers, but Rowan and her actions will obviously have consequences, like, because I will say this for those that are like extremely freaking out about the end, like, I'm not going to keep you in suspense terribly long as far as the relationship is concerned. So, and that's just more for my benefit as well, because
for your own mental health.
Right. So, but yeah. So anyways.
Would you want to be friends with Princess?
Yes.
Yeah, she's bad A.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's just got a lot of spunk. Sassy.
Yeah.
I kind of like sassy people.
And I feel like
when they're not sassy to me.
Yeah. And in the next book, you'll see even more of that, like where she's very much like taking charge of like her life and what's going to happen. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I think even her biggest arc will happen in the second book.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, well, I have had some writer friends tell me, like, they have, when they finish a book, they feel super sad because they're, like, best friends with their characters, and now they're, losing that. Do you guys ever feel that with your characters?
Yeah. Yeah, except I make a joke about my first series, the Spinster series with Julia. I was so sick of her.
You were just
I was like, she's so whiny. And then I was like, she came from my own brain. And she's driving me nuts. So I was like, what does that say? No, but usually, yeah, I with writing a book, they'll be like, when I'm done, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I miss these characters so much. Like, they're my friends for so long. I would say the accidental text, Maggie, because I really related to her. So I really, I was sad when that was over and like wanted to write more, but I also didn't. So I get to a point where I'm at the end of the book. I'm like, Jennifer usually gets a text. Yeah. I'm so sick of this book. Yeah. And she's like, yay, that means it's going to be good.
Yes.
I know. We always tell each other, like, I hate this book so much. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Yeah. I think if you like a book at the end, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because you have to read it so much. I don't think people realize how many times you have to go over and over and over it again.
So, like, you read it the one time. We've read it, I don't even know, 10, 20, 30 times. Like, we're
you never
so
want to see it
done.
Again.
Yeah, we're so done. I do, though, love a good book that I've read by somebody else, and like the next day I'm like, oh, like
just read all the good parts of it.
Yes.
Just skip to the good parts.
And you feel like that kind of sad, like missing, that goes through your body. You're like, oh, that's over.
It's funny though, we do read our books a ton, but then somebody will ask me, how old was so-and-so, in this book? I'm like, I have no idea. I blocked it out now. I read it so many times and I blocked it out.
I was talking to somebody on the phone yesterday and they were asking me the name of a character in the Love Potion, and I was like, I literally have no idea. I would have to look it up.
Yeah.
It's funny how our brains work.
I know.
All right. What kind of friend would you say you are?
I think I'm a good friend.
Definitely.
I think I'm a loyal friend.
Yeah, I'm very loyal.
Yeah.
I'm loyal.
Loyal is important to me.
I do loyal is important to me. I just love being with people. I'm definitely an extrovert. Although as I'm getting older, I'm getting more introverted. Like being home by myself is so nice. Yes. But by myself, like nobody in my family there either. But like no, I really love being with people. I love hanging out and chatting and catching up and talking, and I love energy that you get from other people too. But I think I try to be a good friend. I like, the golden rule. I want to be the kind of friend that attract that kind of friend to me. So I tried to be a good friend, and I feel real guilty when I'm not.
Yeah. I always wished I was a little bit more extroverted. I'm trying to put myself out there a little bit.
It's so funny because I don't see you as an introvert. I mean, I guess I do, but it's not like when we hang out, you're like, we chat the whole time.
Right.
There's not a dull moment. So like,
that's because of your energy, probably, Becky. You draw everyone to you. Literally, that's what drew me to you, because we were at that conference and I was with Heather Moore and you were at a table. I don't know if you were there.
Yeah, she was on the other side of me.
Anyway, and you had all these people around you and you were laughing and you had all this energy, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And we went and sat by you. I'm like, I love her energy. You just draw people too, don't you think?
Yes. And I was like, because when I remember meeting you and you'd said like you'd read my book, and I am so awkward when people talk to me about my books. I'm getting better. But I'll usually say something self-deprecating, like, "Oh, I hope you can make it through it," or like, "I didn't put you to sleep," Oh my God, like. And I think I said something to you because I was like, "Oh, you're an idiot, Becky." Like,
and I was thinking how cool
like,
you were.
I'm such a dork.
You're thinking you're a dork. I'm thinking you're super cool. It's like,
so
wow. Someday I want to say, I read your book, and have somebody else say, I read your book too. But nobody ever does, because I hang around with romance people and they don't generally read suspense.
That's true.
Someday.
What about you, Jen? Do you think you're a good friend?
I think I'm a good friend.
She is.
I feel like I'm a good friend.
Jen is her love, like, well, I don't know if it's your, what is it, like the 5 love languages or whatever. Like, I think yours is gift giving. I don't know if you like receiving gifts, but you are really good at giving gifts. She is really good at it.
I know. And they're also awesome gifts. I'm like, holy crap, where did she find this?
And they're so fancy, like in a basket and like
I'll gift wrap so nice. You don't want to unwrap
and thoughtful, like super thoughtful.
Something you would really use.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, which is funny because I don't expect, like, I don't give, like, I'm not somebody that, I'm more like, if somebody does like acts of service for me, like that's probably more like how bad I do, like, I don't know, like I don't know, like I don't, it does make me feel awkward when people give me things, so I'm like, but it's weird because I love to give things.
Yeah, like you
and
love to
I
give
like
gifts.
like all through the year, like I always like note little things that people like, especially my family, so that like when Christmases or birthday come around,
they're
like,
thoughtful.
Yeah, so like they're surprised when they get something, and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, like I mentioned that like one time, but like I'll just make a note or whatever."
That's
like I
idea.
try to
That's
do
a really
that.
good
So.
idea.
Yeah.
So.
Especially as you get more in-laws and grandkids and things, I need to do that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Julie, you'd be like have a.
I know.
You'd have like a 3-ring binder.
I know. Yeah. I don't know how you would keep how
track
you're
of
going
all
to keep
those
track of all,
grandbabies.
even with just 4 grandbabies. I'm like, again, I'm tired. I was like, "Hey guys, we got to slow down a little bit." And I
How
only
many
have.
do you have now?
I have 6.
6.
Yeah.
5 grandsons, 1 granddaughter.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But with 8 kids, you're just
Yeah.
gonna have
You're,
so many
yeah.
more.
You're just at the very tip of the iceberg. Yeah.
Yeah, my mother-in-law is she's a very good gift giver too, and she spoils us rotten. But she had 2 kids, and they each had we have 3, and then my sister-in-law had 2. So she only has 5 grandchildren. So she spoils everybody rotten. And my kids are always like, "Why doesn't Papa do?" And I'm like, Papa would go broke if you do what Grandma does. My dad, there's like 18 of grandkids and 10 5 kids with spouses. Like, oh my gosh, he would go broke.
The first Christmas after I became a grandma, I was going a little bit crazy with the Christmas gifts for the grandbaby, and my husband's like, we're setting a precedent here, because whatever you do for this one, you've got to do for all the rest. So maybe we might want to figure out the limit here. So we just go with 1 book, 1 outfit, 1 toy for everybody,
which would get expensive.
But that's
when
still
your kids
a
start
lot.
having all the kids.
Yeah.
That's
the book
very
thing.
generous.
Oh yeah.
I like helping their little library shelves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I always do books for everything, and I have my own little, we call it the babe cave. So they have we have lots of books in there, and then I always give them books, and
it's all decorated. It's super cute.
That sounds cute. Your house is probably really cute.
It is cute. She decorates really well.
Oh well, we're having our basement finished right now, and I've got stuff everywhere, and I'm
dust
like,
everywhere.
Dust, and just like all of our food storage is
year.
in our office, and like
It's a nightmare.
I just have things everywhere. And then I'm also having some built-ins done for my living room, because that's just going to be a library room now, and so that'll be starting. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like,
does that wreck your creativity to have all of the
It does.
chaos?
Yes,
I can say that.
it
did for
kind
me.
of does. Yeah, because like, especially it's like, especially when they're doing like the floor and things like that, and we put wood flooring, and like right now they're doing our steps and they're wood, and I'm like, and the smell like of it's just, and like dust, like I literally, when they like did the walls, like it, and we even like stuff under the thing,
walls.
like it didn't matter, there was dust everywhere in the house.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really does. And just to have things in chaos for me, it's been really difficult.
It's
like
hard,
I was trying to finish writing Queen, and I'm like, I'm never, and now I'm trying to write Now, and I'm like, and then I've got a bunch of other things going on, and I'm like, I might just have to go stay in a hotel, honestly, for a couple days.
I do that.
Let's
It's
finish
nice.
it.
Yeah.
It is nice. It's a nice break.
Well, how do you guys keep in touch with your friends mostly? I mean, is it more in person? Is it more online? I mean, I know COVID changed things a little for people.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mix.
It depends on it's a mix.
Yeah.
I would say I text a lot.
Yeah.
Like I'm constantly texting my friends. And I am very, with my like friendship, I'm like, I got to text them back right away.
Yeah,
like, so
that's
sometimes,
me too.
I'll be like, sorry, I didn't. And the person on the other line is probably like, it's totally fine, Becky.
Yeah.
It's been 30 seconds, Becky. Come on.
Yeah.
Give it a whole minute next time.
I know. Don't seem so eager, Becky. I know. But I'm like, I don't want to leave them hanging. Even though, like, I'm totally fine if they did that to me.
Right.
I don't know why.
Well, it did take you an hour to text me back the other day.
Yeah, sometimes, though, I've been trying to put my phone down around my children and be more present. So that's usually what happens.
I'm teasing you. But yeah, that's a good thing. Putting our phone down is always a good thing.
I know. My kids are like, when we're talking, you need to put your phone down. I'm like, fine.
That's usually what I'm saying to them. When we're talking,
know.
you need to put your
Right.
phone down.
I know.
We have a no phone rule at the dinner table. And
Yeah,
That's
us too.
good.
sometimes we have to
do
remind
too.
our older adult children. I know you don't live here, but this is still the rule.
Let's have real conversations.
Exactly. Do you guys have a favorite thing you do with your friends?
I love to go to lunch.
Yeah, lunch.
There's food involved. I'll be there.
And writers' retreats and
writers' retreats are fun.
Conferences. But
yeah.
I haven't done very many writer retreats. I don't have any writer retreat friends.
Oh,
that's weird, huh?
We'll have to fix that. Yeah. I like, I haven't done that many either, but when we do them, they're really fun. But I really just like to go to lunch and catch up. Same. I love those really long 3-hour lunches. You're just
right?
Talking and just, you feel good after you leave. I love that.
I have a restaurant that I go to, and the people there know me, and because I go there so often, and they always put me in a corner booth so I can just sit there with my friend, and we're not, interrupted a bunch of times. It's just, and we're not rushed out or anything.
Yeah, so, that is so nice.
Yeah, you're a lunch person too.
Oh yeah, yes, definitely a lunch person.
Yeah, I'm a lunch person.
Well, I'm just very glad I have you two for my friends.
Me too.
You're so sweet to me, and you were really good to me when I was 6. So.
Oh, that was I was just thinking about that again the other day. I was like, I really did stalk people in your family. So I'd like to publicly apologize.
Well, it was a good conversation starter. It's like, oh, she writes this book. You should totally read that.
I was like, somebody tell me what's going on with Julie, because obviously you couldn't text. So,
well, even now I go back and I've looked at some of the stuff I posted on Facebook, and I'm thinking I should have waited until I was more lucid and not.
No, we needed the updates.
Yeah, everybody.
We were all freaking out.
Oh,
seriously,
my word.
It was weird to be on the other side and be like, oh.
Well, it was nice to feel very loved, that's for sure.
You are
a lot
loved.
of my friends were very kind to pray for me and watch out for me. All right, I thought since our theme was friendship, we would read something from one of our books that has a friendship in it. Okay. Do you want to go first, Becky?
Actually, Jen, you want to
go
first?
first?
Because I didn't have. Okay. I thought I had it pulled up to the right, and I did not.
I don't know if I read this before, but anyways. This is from the Valentine Inn, and Izzy and Charlotte are sisters, but they're also best friends, and they're hilarious together. And I'm actually writing Izzy's book that will come out hopefully in October. So that's the plan. So, but it will be Christmas at Valentine Inn, so that will be Izzy's story. It will be of a Christmas story. But anyway, so sisters, they own an inn together, which is so fun. So
they have a cute relationship.
Yeah, and they have just a really fun relationship. I'm not sure if I read this, but if I did, so sorry. But
I'm pulling a me.
Yeah, and the Valentine Inn, by the way, is it's their last name is Valentine, so it's not a Valentine Day story per se. So, you missed a spot. Izzy walked in wearing a Cheshire cat grin, and that never meant anything good for me. I set the roller in the tray and wiped my brow while trying to find the spot on the wall my sister claimed I missed. The newly painted alabaster wall seemed perfectly even to me, but for all I knew, I had painted my own eyes alabaster by this point. I swear we had been painting for eons. Where? I finally gave up searching and asked. A smug Izzy walked across the plastic-covered hardwood floors and pointed at the obvious spot where the old robin's egg blue paint was bleeding through. Right here. I sighed, lowered myself to the floor, and dramatically laid down. Why did we think this was a good idea? I lamented. Izzy lay next to me, her perfect dark curls splayed out. Our parents used to call her Snow White and me Sleeping Beauty on account of how contrasting our hair was. But truly it was Izzy who was the beauty, with her red wine lips and creamy complexion. No one would guess she had just turned 40. Izzy took my hand and squeezed it. Dreams take hard work. She always knew the right thing to say. I looked up at the newly installed noble bronze ceiling fan in the guest room we would call the Kate and Alex room. Kate and Alex from the Lake House, one of Izzy's and my favorite movies. The room would eventually have love letters plastered to the wall, hopefully many from future guests, and an old rustic mailbox would hold the guest towels. Every room at the inn had a romantic couple's theme from either a famous book or movie, with the exception of one room. That room was going to be named for the special couple who had made their dream come true and then entrusted Izzy and me to carry it on. When George decided to sell the Old Rock Church Inn, I was the first person he'd called. He said he knew from the first moment we met that the beloved place would be mine eventually. He was the craziest and sweetest old man, but he was right. The place called to me. Over the last several years, I had visited the inn and George as often as I could. Each time it got harder and harder to leave. I squeezed Izzy's hand. Thanks for helping me make this dream a reality. Well, I'm about to make another one of your dreams come true, she sang. I turned my head toward her. Please tell me it's the one where I get to sleep for 8 hours straight and actually wake up feeling refreshed. I couldn't remember the last time that had happened. Izzy laughed. Honey, I said I was making your dream come true, not taking you to Fantasy Island. Fine, I smiled. Tell me. I found the money to buy the crystal French Empire chandelier you've been drooling over. I popped up. What? Really? How? I'd been going through our budget like crazy trying to find any way possible to buy that baby. The ballroom begged for it, but I could never find a way to make it work. Those thousands of dollars were needed elsewhere, as in a new roof, new pipes, an HVAC system, and other necessities. Izzy sat up too, looking a bit pensive, biting her lower lip. I tilted my head. Don't tell me you want to harvest one of my kidneys, I teased her. You might like that better. My eyes widened. What did you do? Her devious brown eyes bored into mine. I did the right thing. I rubbed my temples. Whenever you say that, it never ends well for me. When have I ever steered you wrong? She scoffed. When I was in the 8th grade, you told me blue eyeshadow was totally my shade and that I should part my hair in a zigzag pattern. Do you know how ridiculous my yearbook photo was that year? She snort giggled. It's the gift that keeps on giving to me.
So cute. I love that book. I bought the audio. Her audio person is so good.
Stephanie
so
K.
Good. Yes,
she's amazing.
So she really brings the book to life. So, and I was like listening to it to get myself pumped up to write my own book.
She's really good. She's actually doing so I sold Dreamscape Media bought All's Fair in Love and Blood, and so she's doing that.
Yeah.
And they just bought Paige's Turn, and they're like, "Do you want Stephanie to audition?" I'm like, "Yes, I do."
Just have her do them all.
Yeah. I was like, just know if she'll take it. Just it's Stephanie.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay. Do you want me to go now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to read from The Love Potion,
Yeah.
which, the guy's name was Dylan. That was the book I was like,
I know, I was trying to think too.
I know the book. I couldn't remember the bad guy's name, and his name is Dylan. Okay, so this is Hazel and Allie, and they are they've been best friends since high school, I think is whatever. Maybe it was middle school. I can't remember. And see, we talk about can't remember our books. And they have both had to move out of their house and move back into their parents' house, which they grew up down the street from each other. So they're just down the street in their parents' houses, and they're like 26. Okay. Hand me the Twizzlers, Hazel says, holding out a hand toward me. I look to my side and grab the light pink bag and hand it to her, the plastic making crinkling noises as I do. We're lying on the full-size bed in my room, both on our backs looking up at the ceiling. She came over so I could give her the details about Dylan and all the things that happened today. Somehow we ended up in the laundry room raiding my mom's candy stash and then on my bed eating and laughing. My parents went to dinner with Hazel's parents tonight, so we could have gone to either house, but we usually end up in my room where we were here. We were here a lot growing up, especially since Hazel's sister Autumn would pester us when we were at her house. We were safe here with my brothers. They couldn't have cared less about girl stuff and usually left us alone. It feels like old times, like way old times, before adulthood and jobs and real relationships, back when we all cared about was what we wore to school that day and if one of the football players said hi to us in the halls. Hazel loves to talk about the old days. I love it too, but I also like my present life, which is what we're currently discussing. So Josh is kind of a jerk, Hazel says. No, I say, I mean, they both made mistakes. Yeah, but to hold a grudge that long? I'm sure he has his reasons, I say. I refuse to think Josh would be that petty. It doesn't fit him. There must be more from his side, if only he'd tell me. Are you going to talk to him about it? About what Dylan told me? Hazel nods her head. Don't you want to know his side? I do, of course, but it's his story to tell when he's ready. Right, says Hazel. She turns on her side so she's facing me. Well, I guess you better give me some of that potion. I look at her, my eyes wide. You believe me now? Not really, she said. It does seem kind of strange, though. Thank you, I say, feeling sort of validated about a bottle of love potion. Right. I better test it out, just in case, she says. She's in a good mood tonight. More of the happier version of Hazel. I've missed this. Got a guy you're interested in? Nah, she bats the words away with her hand. I need a job and will take all the karma, juju, or magic I can get. Stop, you'll find something. I have to hurry. My parents are threatening to throw me into the casita. My eyes go wide and I roll to my side so we're face to face. No, I say. Oh, yes. Hazel's parents have a casita on the side of their house, which is like a tiny one-bedroom apartment, perfect for a mother-in-law or something. It's been a running joke between Hazel and me that one of us would end up in her parents' casita someday to live our life away like a lonely spinster. We found a scorpion in there once when we were kids, and it's been tainted ever since. It's mostly used for storage, and it must be full of dust and rodents and spiderwebs now. I shudder at the thought. I could get us an apartment, I say. She gives me a sad smile. You're not going to do that. I would, though, I say. You should get yourself one, she says. I shake my head. I'm not moving into an apartment without you. I don't want to live by myself. Besides, I'm fine here for now. She pulls her brows inward. You're fine being an adult woman back in mommy and daddy's house? Because I'm not. Why not? It's comfortable, safe. It has no rodent infestation. Now it's Hazel's turn to shudder. I'm just saying that we still have too much life ahead of us to be back at our parents' house. Now you sound like my parents, I say. Are they bugging you to move out? I furrow my brow. No, not at all. They're just worried that their old personness is going to rub off on me. I mean, you have been going to bed earlier, Hazel says, giving me a little shrug. That's only in the name of being healthy. Whatever, old lady.
I don't think I've read that one. I must have missed it.
It's like a prequel to the accidental text. So Chase from the accidental text. I know. Well, it was part of a compilation that Jen and I did. We're part of was it last year?
Yeah, the one that, because we were
it's like a year ago.
Yeah. We hit the USA Today with the.
Yeah. And then I released it on my own a year ago. And it's fun. It's a fun little. I really like this story.
But
like, now I have to go download it.
It's a novella. It'll be a fast read for you. But I really like the story.
It's darling.
I wanted to write more about them, but I can't think of a way to expand it. So it's just going to be.
Well, you need to give Hazel. You
know,
who I think
yeah,
Hazel should be with. But anyways,
I might do that. But yeah, it's a bit of a prequel to the accidental text. So Chase from the accidental text is in this book, and you find out like how he gets the original text, like what's happening in his life when he starts getting the text from the stranger. So,
can you do a redemption arc for Dylan? I don't know. Maybe.
No, he's a pretty big jerk.
Yeah, he's kind of jerky.
But he
really
probably
jerky.
has a wound, an emotional wound.
Probably.
From his background.
No, he does for sure. He does.
Well, let's just think about that, Becky. All right. So mine is from The Captain. And so Colt and Brenna were probably one of my favorite couples I ever wrote. And Colt was captured by this terrorist. Brenna is undercover as a servant in the terrorist household. So she comes across a drugged and beaten Colt. And that's where we're at. Okay. Where am I? His voice was raspy, so she turned to get him a bit of water. How could she answer him? Had the drugs really made him forget, or did he want to know his location? She decided to sidestep the question altogether. If he'd forgotten the mess he was in, even for a moment, she wouldn't be the one to remind him. There was a problem, and I was sent in undercover to help you. She hoped that would satisfy him for now. Sure, it was only a half-truth, but it was probably better to wait until he was a little more aware before she reminded him of what was going on. His head tilted as he stared at her, obviously trying to make sense of her words. It's okay, trust me. She lifted his head so he could get some water, and he drank it greedily. I'm so thirsty. Brenna filled the glass and helped him drink again. You should just rest. He lay back, his good eye fastened on her. He pulled on the ropes that held him fast to the bed. Why am I tied to the bed? You and Jack pulling a prank on me? Jack Roche had been the third member of their Three Musketeers group at the Military Intelligence Academy. She'd lost track of him in the last few years, though. I haven't seen Jack, she said as she leaned closer. Rest now. This is some sort of prank, I know it. Just untie me. His eye had that familiar brown twinkle she'd seen nearly every day she'd been at the academy. I'll make it worth your while. He gave her a half smile that still turned her heart over in her chest, and he wiggled his hands above his head. How many times had she found comfort and strength in his arms when she'd been stressed out or upset? He had an uncanny way of reading her and knowing exactly what to say to shake off any mood. She'd loved that about him. But that was then. Everything was different now. You're getting cocky, Lieutenant. Stand down. She smiled and shook her head. It was so easy to fall into their old patterns, to go back to a time when their life was simpler. I'm not cocky. I'm confident. He bent his head toward her. And I'm a captain now. Well, at least he was starting to remember the present. That was a good sign. You pulling rank on me? Only if I have to. That half smile turned into a full-blown grin, and the butterflies in her stomach that had been nearly dead from disuse suddenly took flight. How could he still do that to her all these years later? She stood, needing some space from the feelings he was evoking in her. You're leaving me again, aren't you? He accused, his smile vanishing. His brow furrowed the same way it had the day they'd said goodbye. I don't want you to go. His voice was low, barely above a whisper now, and she turned to wet the cloth again. I'm not going to leave you. She finished cleaning off the last of the blood on his face, and he closed his good eye at her ministrations. Brenna leaned in, needing him to feel her presence, to know she wasn't leaving. She was here and wanted to do what she could to help him. Where do you hurt the most? She asked softly. My shoulder. He opened his eye, again scrutinizing her face. My heart when you left me.
Aww. It's like a second chance.
Yeah, it's a second chance.
I love the cover on that one.
I know. I was thinking that too. I was like, that's such a good cover.
Very strong.
Love that one. Well, thank you for coming and joining us today. And we hope you have a good month. I guess it's at the end of the month. So.
Yeah. You had a good April?
Hope you had a good April. I had a good April.
I did too.
But we'll see you in May.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.